Hey, welcome to the channel. This is Tooltime John. Today we're going to be replacing the alternator on my 2006 Chevy Silverado with a 5.3 liter. If you saw the other video where I replaced the serpentine belt and the alternator on a 2012 Chevy HD 3500 with a Duramax diesel, you're going to enjoy this one because it is so easy, anybody can do it. So how do I know that the alternator is bad? Well, the truck starts every time that I put the key in it, except for one morning when I needed the truck, it wouldn't start at all. So I checked the battery out and it said it was low. So I put the charger on it and it wouldn't charge more than 95%. And so I pulled out my multimeter to check the battery against the battery tester that I got from Harbor Freight, which is pretty cheap. And I decided to also check the alternator with the multimeter, and the multimeter was showing a voltage going all over the place. So if your alternator is doing that, it's a pretty sure sign that your alternator is on its way out. And if the sticker on the battery is correct, it's dated 2021. It's end of 2024, so it's only 3 years old, going into 4 years old, and the battery's been good before, but it's not maintaining a charge. I suspect it is the alternator. I hope it's the alternator, because otherwise I'm just going to get a new alternator and have to replace the battery. So we'll see. First thing to do is undo that battery. Just the negative, that's fine. All right, just got that disconnected. Next, we'll have to disconnect the battery cable from the back of the alternator. It's a 10mm. And of course I can't find my 10mm socket, so a wrench will work just fine. Move this cable out of the way. Take the serpentine belt off so I can get the alternator off. And unlike the Duramax diesel, all the pulleys face the same direction. And it's right there. There's all kinds of room to work. Got a 15mm socket on my ratchet. And we're going to release the tension off of this serpentine belt. Now there is another one for the AC behind, and that tensioner is way down there, and it's all it takes is a 3/8 inch ratchet to loosen that one up. But for this main belt, we got this. Before loosening the tension on the tensioner, make sure you know the routing of this belt. So in your vehicle you may have a sticker which shows you the belt routing, but I don't have one. So worst comes to worst, just take a picture instead of having to draw it out. All right, and then we'll put your 15mm socket on that bolt. That's the tensioner. And what you do is you pull the belt off from the underside of the idler pulley. Okay? And then slowly release tension on there. And we're not replacing the belt because it's actually in good shape. So now we just have to remove this. Got a couple of bolts up here, and they are also 15mm. And I don't know if this is the original one from 2006, but if so, it's lasted quite a long time, over 190,000 miles. I would use my electric ratchet, but battery's dead. And this thing has been in here forever, and I know there's probably another harness attached to this, but I can't see it right now. So we'll just use something to pry this up and out of there. So I've got a big long screwdriver. It's in there pretty good. Alright, wasn't too bad. Okay, and there's the clip. So we just want to pull up on that tab to get it out from that locking nub, and then just wiggle that dude out. So there's the old alternator. So we got the old and the new. Just checking it out, making sure it looks the same. And I'll put a link to the eBay seller that I got this from. Also, you got a nice new nut back here, so I don't have to reuse what was on there. So let's go ahead and put the new one in. So these little bushings, you got to press them back so there's adequate room to get the new alternator in. So just get some channel locks and press it back so there's plenty of room. But before we put this on, I'm gonna attach this electrical connector. It's in there. And you may have to use a rubber mallet or something to persuade the new one going in, or it could just set in like that. All the way to the other side. Okay, that one started. It's in there good and tight. I need to put this dude back on. Where'd it go? There it is. Came with a new nut, so. Okay, got that on there. Make sure you put that rubber boot back over it. Then we're going to go ahead and reconnect the battery. Then, of course, the last thing to do is to get this serpentine belt back on. So I'm going to reference my picture that I took and make sure I got it routed correctly. Looks like everything is where it's supposed to be. See if this truck will crank up. Okay, I've got the trusty multimeter out. We'll check the battery first. Wow, 15 volts. That's a bit high. Let's check the alternator. About 15.2 volts. I would imagine it's probably putting it out higher because the battery was low. So I'm going to have to test that out later. It looks like it's functioning the way it's supposed to. Well, so that's it for this edition of Tool Time on the old Chevy Silverado. And just so you know, the battery will not charge while idling. So you got to get it out there, drive it. That way the alternator's got enough where it's charging up that battery. So if you have any questions, let me know. But if you like this kind of content, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. It means a lot to me. Appreciate it. Until next time, see ya.